We Invested podcast. We have the founder and CEO of Revolution by the Barrel, Nigel Lindsey. Nigel, what's going on, brother?
Just another day. Happy, I'm in Atlanta right
Yes,
now, so things are cool.
yes, sir, man. Hey, brother, thank you so much for joining me, man. I've been waiting on this one because, man, I feel like what you're doing is something that I've never heard of personally, and I feel like you just innovating this space that you're in, bro. So before we jump into that, can you let the people know where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, of course. So social media wise, we're on Facebook and we're on Instagram, both with the same handle of the business name, Revolution by the Barrel, all together. But we also have a website as well, revolutionbythebarrel.com. Try to not make it too confusing because I'll end up confusing myself really. So yeah.
For sure, bro. So let's just jump right into it, man. What is Revolution by the Barrel?
So, Revolution by the Barrel is a company that is focused on providing the best bar catering service for any type of event. So, whether it's a wedding, private party, bat mitzvah, the virtual events, it does not matter. At the end of the day, we make sure your drinks, whether non-alcoholic or alcoholic, are just the best thing coming out. I yeah, I really just tried to create something that nobody in the Pacific Northwest had, which was culture as well as substitute with a fair price for a company to provide you the type of service you need for the events you want to have. Nobody, has all this extra stuff like scallops and oysters and then has a janky bar, right? That's not fair. If you throwing something, you're doing something, everybody wants to do it to the nine. So create a company that allows you to have that same experience no matter what across the board.
For sure, brother, for sure. And so, how did you get started in this space?
Yeah. So I became a bartender right off 21. I was broke. So I went to this wedding venue at the time and I lied on my resume and told them I had bartending experience. And anywho, it was pretty funny because I just turned 21. You have to give them your license, right? So anyway, I started learning how to bartend, YouTube some stuff, thought I was good, bartended for about 3 more years after that, and realized, you know, alcohol is a $18 billion industry, and that was back in 2016, I believe. I'm getting paid minimum wage, and I might be making $200 off of tips a shift. Now there's a disproportionate figure here, so um, I really got started. I just looked at the whole situation was like, I need to make more money. How can I do it? People were asking me to do weddings and do other events, and I had all this ideas of like performing and not performing, but making drinks for like concerts and throwing my own concerts and stuff like that. So that's kind of really how I got started. I was just like, let me take. I know I'm really skilled at this. I got loyal customers. I know I could change that to a bigger platform. Let me just start with everything. And I actually called it mobile mixology in the beginning because my idea was that I'm moving, from city to city. I'm going from place to place for mobile. But Revolution by the Barrel came a little bit later because it, I've always been a part of the revolution. Like that's my history. My family was Black Panthers in Seattle. So I thought, that's where the revolution piece comes from. I've always been like, into some form of activism. I'm the vice president of NAACP of Snohomish County. So, um, with that being said, that's where the revolution came from. Barrels, I love whiskey. So I was just like, listen, we're about to change everything and revolutionize this whole game. So, Revolution by the Barrel, changing all your whiskey and barreled cocktails.
That's so crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I just watched their Judas and the Black
Oh,
Messiah. Bro, I
yeah.
did not know you came from that and that bloodline.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, my uncle was a captain. They actually used to hold so from Seattle in the CD, and it's a little different than when it was when I was growing up. But they used to. There's a picture. They used to hold all the guns down at the bottom at my great grandma's house, and next door was the coach captain Elmer Dixon, Elmer and Aaron, and anyway, so yeah, my great grandma's house was a stronghold, which was crazy, just massive weapons downstairs.
Man, that's
Yeah.
so legendary, bro. That's
Yeah.
legendary. Man, That's crazy. That's gonna be a whole nother conversation, a whole nother podcast interview. But one of the things that you talk about, and I heard you first talk about, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, um, was mocktails. And I'm familiar with the cocktail, but I'm not familiar with the mocktail. So what is that? What is a mocktail?
Yeah, so a mocktail is a better version of a soda, right? So there's a good portion of people that don't drink for health reasons or just cause. So the mocktail is a non-alcoholic cocktail. So it has all the fixings, right? So you might be using bitters, or you might be using fresh ingredients like thyme or basil, pureed juices, lemon juice, soda water, and all the same stuff, but you're just taking out the alcohol. So it's better than, just saying, oh, the DD, instead of them just having like a Sprite and sitting there, or cranberry juice and sitting there. You make them a mocktail, something pretty nice. And one, it looks like a cocktail, so the visual effect is there. And then also, it's an upgraded version of a beverage, something you're not going to get at your local grocery store.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. So,
Yeah.
Your company has partnered with major brands like T-Mobile, Funko, and many more. So, how did you seize opportunities like that? And then, how did you feel once you secured those partnerships?
Yeah. A lot of them is just based off word of mouth. T-Mobile, I believe they reached out to me through a service. And it was like super last minute. They're just like, hey, we have this wedding in like 4 days. Not wedding. They had this event like for their company for 4 days. And I was like, okay, how many people? Like 700. I was like, all right, well, we got to get it done. Hired some people real quick and then made it happen. Funko was based off a connection with Ever Music Initiative. I try to really stay plugged in no matter what city I'm in. I believe that's the only way really to build your business. It's one thing to, do Facebook and other type of marketing, right? But, these ads come and go. But if people can look at a company name and be like, oh, that's Nigel, you know, then it's a lot easier for me to get in that door. Like, oh, what are we gonna do for bartending? And they're not looking at Instagram real quick. They might just ask somebody, and if somebody knows me from the city, like, oh no, Nigel does this. So that's how I got plugged in with Funko. And to maintain it that was the second part, right? What was the
So
second
the
part of the
second
question?
part was really like, bro, how did you feel? Like, what emotions were you feeling
Oh,
when you booked those, or when you know what I'm saying, when you secured those partnerships and those deals and those events?
for the T-Mobile one, I was overexcited. I remember that one vividly because it was like my first big company break, and I was in Marysville. I think I was either leaving the gym or I was doing something to a car. I think I was doing the emissions test to my car. And this is back when we still did emissions tests here in Washington. But nonetheless, I was overjoyed. I felt, felt like the king of the world at that moment. And same with Funko. Like every new company and every new project, as soon as they start coming in, I see the emails. I'm always happy, but still at the same time on the bottom end, just nervous, right? Because you know it's like stepping up to the big leagues every game. So definitely overexcited for every company partnership, as well as just when wedding venues call me and want me to be preferred vendor there, or be their only vendor there. That's smooth. And then after that, it's just nervous, because it, this is my time to shine, right? They heard all these great things, they heard me being like Superman in my eyes, and now I got to go out and outperform that, you know.
For sure, bro, for sure. And so, man, I was doing some research on your website a little earlier, man, and I saw something, in my opinion, that's like one of the most innovative things. Your company offers virtual bartending classes. So, can you talk a little bit more about that and how you came up with that idea?
Yeah, so COVID is a very real thing and has impacted a lot of small businesses, and we can't bartend through the Washington State order. Like there was nothing that we could do. And so, I know we've been using Zoom and everything like that to just, I remember from like just other work meetings and stuff like that. And I was thinking, what can I do? I think I generated the idea based off of an ad or something I saw on YouTube. And it was like kind of like I can't remember the name of the website, but they were just having bartenders do it for like $10 in tips. And I was like, Why would I go to another platform when I can create my own? So I decided to kind of make that a thing because all these people are having Zoom meetings and they have Zoom birthday parties. So I was like, well, we're already doing the to-go cocktail kits. Let's just combine it. Now I teach everybody how to be a bartender because they're stuck at home like me. I shouldn't be the only one making good drinks at home, you know? So I give everybody that opportunity and it could still be the same.
For sure,
Yeah.
bro. And what is a to go kit?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I have to go mocktail and cocktail kits. So what I do is I put about 4 drinks in each, and you get all the ingredients with a menu and instructions, what tools you'll need, and then I just drop that off or I ship it out to you, and from there it's just kind of bringing the bar to you, but it's like a good portion of the bar, right? Because my cocktail kits go for about 37.50. Um, and to go buy a bottle in Seattle with the Washington state tax, it's minimum $30. So, you're getting 4 drinks for 37 and it's getting dropped off to your house. Um, if you like, I mean, unless you just drink it straight out the bottle, it's obviously the better price. And I just thought that would be a way to go with. And then the same thing with mocktails. I was like, well, there's still people out here that's not drinking, and a lot of the work ones I've been doing virtually, they ask for the mocktail versions, but then all the workers that are on there are like, okay, so what do we throw in this? Like, are we putting vodka? Are we putting tequila, mezcal? How are we playing with this? So yeah, that's kind of how we did both of those there.
Man, that's genius, bro. And that's the first of its kind. Anything I ever heard like that. I don't even really drink too much, but man, that's genius. Like you said, just bring the bar directly to the people. They don't even have to leave their house. They don't have to do anything. So it's like you still have the chance to leave your mark on people, even if they're not necessarily right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? You're not having
Yeah,
that experience. They can still have an at home experience.
definitely. And I think it stays a lot longer, right? Because these people, it's one thing to go out and see me at a bar, or it's one thing to see me at like an event, a wedding. You know, you got that. You keeping that menu forever, right? You're creating an experience, creating those drinks. Um, Everybody's always relying on the bartender. Now you become the bartender, so now you got to work hard and try new tricks, and it gives you something fun to do. So it just kind of makes a break in the consistency of home life with this whole COVID thing going. So
For sure, bro. And let me
yeah.
just ask you this quick random question that just hit me. So, what's it like for you and for Revolution by the Barrel during the summer months and then during the winter months? Do you notice like any difference? Like in the summertime, people more ready to turn up, or is it kind of consistent throughout? Because there's always events and birthday parties going on.
During the summertime, I find it's wedding season. There's nothing that I can change about that. Big wedding season, a couple of corporate events. Wintertime is purely corporate events, it seems like. Obviously, now there's this whole shift in dynamic because a lot of things were virtual. But for the most part, it's every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes even Thursday, wedding, 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 wedding. Whether it's in Oregon, whether it's in Washington, just driving this spot, driving that spot, talking about this menu. It's yeah, it's crazy. And then it slows down during the winter. I'm able to do a little bit more pop-ups. Mostly it's just corporate stuff, especially around December. Everybody wants to treat their employees well. And yeah, so that time it's like more of a slowdown. I'm doing a lot of bookings. Um, and I'm also just doing pop-ups as much of stuff as possible, trying to be as creative as possible with the business, try to do art shows or trying to do, live music shows or partnering with food trucks, things like that, because sometimes I don't get the opportunity to in the summer just because I'm pulled in 4 different directions.
For sure, bro. For sure.
Yeah.
So, how would you say that social media and social media marketing has impacted your business? Because I was checking out the Instagram and the content up there is some great content. So, how is it, help the company, if any?
I think it helps in the sense of people believe I'm real, you know, and then they can also see who I am. And see what we're doing. Right. It's one thing to talk about it, but when a lot of people are visual, right? So a lot of people want to see the cocktails. A lot of people want to see who I'm partnering with. And it gives me the opportunity also to directly talk to a lot of my potential clients and current clients. Um, when I'm working, if I'm just not managing the event, um, my talk is just, it's not as long, right? It's genuine, don't get me wrong, but like there's usually 4 or 5 people that want to drink right after you, so I can't be sitting here chopping it up for a whole time. Uh, so it gives me a chance to connect, and people also connect with me, ask me questions. I mean, DMs are flooded with just random bar questions all the time. Well, I don't want to say flooded, occasional, you know.
For sure, bro, for sure.
Yeah.
And one of the most recent virtual events that I saw was the Fill Your Cup event. So can you kind of talk a
Yeah.
little bit more about that, and how does a virtual event like work for you? How do you conduct those, or how does that really happen from your standpoint?
Yeah, that was an amazing event. And it was crazy. So Fill Your Cup was UW Bothell alumni event, and I was put onto it due to connects that I had from Everett, Jackie Julian. Um, she was the vice president while I was the president of the Black Student Union. And anyway, she's been to a couple of events that I've done, and she reached out. She let me know about this, and then Tiffany reached out. And that kind of event, the way they had it, it was. And this is nothing against all the other events I've done, but this event was just a whole nother spectrum, a whole nother vibe, because you had Gifted Gab, you had Dave B, you had Alexa Paris, like you had these artists, these local artists, and they're not all local right now, but like you had these famous local artists that were also providing this space, this beautiful like space for people to enjoy themselves and enjoy culture and to what it really feels like it needs to be. Um, and that process wasn't too difficult. Honestly, I just set up in the studio and I just teach people. So what was happening was we say intro, everybody's introducing themselves. I introduced myself and my company, and then everybody already has their kicks. I dropped them all off personally. I'm driving all around Snohomish and King County, and just dropping off kits. Anyway, had the bar set up, and you do the first drink. The way they had it set up was first drink, first performance, second drink, second performance, third drink, third performance. And then after that, it was just a dance party. So you had all these people dancing on Zoom. They already had 2 or 3 drinks in their system, you know. And it was nice because it was like it's like what YouTube and Tidal wanted to do with concerts, right? But this was so grassroots oriented and so small that it was a good sense because all the people there were like truly in it, you know, talking in the chat, asking questions, showing me what their drinks look like, which is always the best part, right? Because I come out with something yellow, you come out with something pink, like, or my drink might be filled 8 ounces, and for some reason you in a short cup and it's 4 ounces. So yeah,
For
it
sure, bro.
was yeah,
So
it was a whole vibe. Yeah, it was mad chill.
for sure. So what would you say, your personal favorite cocktail is of yours that you offer and that you have?
So I try to change up the cocktails monthly that we deliver, but like my all-time favorite cocktail is a whiskey sour. Well, New York sour. Let me say that New York sour, which is whiskey, uh, egg white, lemon juice, and simple syrup, shaken and strained, neat with a float of red wine. It's by far the best drink I think I've ever had in my life. And like, don't get me wrong, I have other drinks, but yeah. But usually when I'm at home, the sad thing is I'm just drinking liquor straight. So like I might have an ice ball or something. But I'm honestly just trying to get all the flavor profiles in my head when I'm drinking at home. But my favorite go-to drink is New York Sour.
For sure, bro, for sure. And I was telling you before we
Yeah.
started recording, you were one of the first people when I moved to Seattle. You were one of the first people to really talk about your ideas and your company and your business, and talk about um the grind that it takes to to make it possible. So like what does an average day for you look like?
Yeah. Well, average day, I wake up around 4:30. By 5, I'm at the gym. back home by 6:15. And mind you, I don't only do this business, right? So back home by 6:15, I try to knock out one or two emails right then and there. Get ready, get my daughters ready, um, drop them off, and then go to 9 to 5. Come back, work well during my lunchtime, knocking out some more emails because I usually get about an hour lunch. Handle calls during that time. After 5, set up a couple calls before 7. Have dinner with the family, put everybody to bed, stay up until about 10, doing stuff. Try to give time to family if I, and I think that's just been the hard time, is just managing, right, and then passing out and doing it over again.
For sure, bro, for sure. And so
Yeah.
when you guys started with Revolution by the Barrel, like how did you know you had the right idea? Like how did you know this was gonna be the one?
Oh, I didn't. I didn't. I honestly didn't. I think I've just become more confident over time based off of, you know, the following we've gathered and the love that we've gotten from and support we've gotten from people. When I first started, I mean, I had all these ideas. I have this book that just has all these things that I want to do with the company. And just now I'm just checking them off. But I didn't know if it was gonna last. But I know I don't like quitting on anything, right? So um to me, this entity, Revolution by the Barrel, is just, it doesn't have to grow, but I'm going to make it grow regardless. But I didn't know I was gonna be here today. Um, I honestly don't think I would have been here today if it wasn't for family and support, from loved ones and friends. Like, yeah, I didn't know any of this was going to be happening until you start generating that and having that conversation. That's why I think it's really good always to work within your community because they're the ones that support you. Like I wouldn't be working with Amazon, in the next couple of weeks if that wasn't the case. So yeah. Yeah, you see, I'll drop that in there.
That's what I'm saying, bro. It just get crazy and crazy every time. I'm like, what you mean right now? The biggest company in the world, you just throw it in casual like it's okay. Yeah, one of them. Nah, for real, man. So, man, that's crazy. That just blew my mind, bro. But what would you say? What's the importance of having a good team? And how did you focus on building your team?
Yeah, in the bartending industry, a good team doesn't mean they all have to be great bartenders. They just want to learn, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I I believe I'm a great bartender. I know my company is the best company in Washington State when it comes to bar catering. But am I probably, I don't know what number, I couldn't put a number on where I'd rank in the world, as a bartender. And so build all in all, to say to build out the team is that you just have to find people that just want to grind, right? That see the vision just as much as you. So I give them 7 seconds and tell them exactly what I'm trying to do. They either say yes or no. And then also just playing to everybody's skill. One of my bartenders is a service manager at a bank, you know, and she's my lead bartender. Um, she's an amazing bartender, but she's also really amazing at strategizing and also making things kind of function quickly. And I have other bartenders that are just really good at flair. I have, other people that knew nothing about bartending, was just in the coffee world and just took it on, but they just have drive, and that's what makes it a lot easier. It's just making sure you have everybody play to their best abilities, because everything from there will just even out,
For sure, bro.
and giving people confidence. And yeah, I think they just giving people confidence, letting them know that they can do it. It doesn't matter about the circumstance or who you're serving. Yeah.
For sure. Let me backtrack for a minute though. Bro, how do you feel about working with Amazon within the next few weeks? Like, I ain't trying to get into all your business or anything, bro. But I just, what's your
Yeah.
emotion, bro? Because I don't even know how I would even respond to something like that.
Yeah. No. So it's with Amazon Web Services. It's the recruiting. But I'm really excited about it because I know what it means, right? Because you work in one branch in the company, you start working with other branches in the company. I'm not I'm nervous because I want to make sure that I do this one so well that they talk about it in the other ones, right? Um, to the point that, they got a new CEO, right? New CEO calls me and just like, hey, Nigel, I need you to just do something company wide. um,
Exactly.
so, so yeah, I'm nervous, but I feel great about it. This whole I've been doing it for a year now. This whole virtual bartending, right? So the worst that can happen is the internet cuts out. Worst case scenario, and um, that's already happened to me once. So, and then I adjusted. So yeah, no, I think it'll be. I'm excited. I'm just I'm excited about it.
Man, that's crazy. You already putting that energy out. Like, yo, I know the new CEO will give me a call. Like, I believe it's gonna happen, bro. Because you, like you said, man, you just revolutionizing this whole space, this whole arena, and just taking it virtual, man. That's genius. It's genius, man.
Thank you,
But,
thank you.
but yeah, bro. But yeah. So, what would you say is your favorite part about being an entrepreneur?
Hmm. I think my favorite part is that when I'm looking at things now, I see it just from a standpoint on not like how they could do things better, but how could I be better in this space, right? And you get to connect with all. It's just the creativity part is by far the best part for me. And then also knowing that I'm building something for my daughters, I think is key, right? So as an entrepreneur, it's not all about self gratification. At the end of the day, this work that I'm putting in now and the hours I'm putting in is only for them. And I mean, a little bit for me, don't get me wrong, but like 99 out of 100 times is for them. Because it makes things easier. It means I can be home more. It means I can be attentive more, It means I can go different things. It means if they want something, I could just grab that, and that's the hope over down the line. I can make moves that, you can't in a corporate space all the time. You can't always just pick up and leave and go do this or, go and talk to this person right here. You got to go through different protocols. You got to wait a year to get promoted. I don't want to do that. I'd rather just grind for 3 months and then I'll be in this situation right then and there, you know? So I think that's my favorite part is just knowing that the possibilities of building anything is limitless.
For sure, bro. For sure. So, what would you say is the single most important reason for your success?
Support and family. I know you said single, but I think those go hand in hand. Um, Without a good foundation, a good base, you you can't do it, right? To me, in this company, I mean, maybe if I didn't have kids, but like if the base, my family, the support, that's key. It's always been the most helpful thing. Um, and I guess drive. Wow, I'm not doing really well in the whole single thing, but yeah, all those things. I wish it was just one word for all of those, but uh, yeah, it's this thing.
For sure. For sure. So, who do you look up to for inspiration and why?
Oh wow, that's a tough one. It depends on what I need inspiration for, right? So um, when I'm looking for like when it's based off creativity, coming up with new drinks, it's not a single person, it's just music, right? Like you'll see on a lot of my cocktail kits, they're based off of either songs or albums. Like my last vodka kit was based off of the artist Sir, his album. And it had a song Chasing Summers on there. And then I can't remember the other one right now off the top of my head, but like when I'm going for creativity, it's definitely R&B, soul, rap off top, and that's kind of where I get my stone to kind of get in a groove and a mindset. Um, and then when I want to get the confidence I need to, just do certain things like wild commercial ideas or um, certain things like that, I get that from my cousin and my uncles. My cousin's a really good DJ out in Seattle, and I really look up to him for a lot of things. And same thing for my uncle. There's just great men in my life that provide excellent leadership. So that's kind of where I get that kind of grounding. So I get my leadership from them, creativity from music, and you know, um, I guess also the confidence from my mom's easily. You know, she's always a confident person, always building me up, and she's building herself up, and walking with her head high and doing what she needs to do. Um, it's made me the man I am today. Not perfect, but so if I need confidence, just talk to her. Um, she'll tell me I'm tripping, and it'd be pretty funny from there. And you just, you get things done. So it all depends on what I need in that moment, and then I know where I can get that from, where I can get that outlet from. Um, and then last but not least, like when I'm dead tired and I don't want to do anything, it's really just my family, my daughters. Um, I didn't plan on having kids, but they're here and I love them. And it's hard not to look at them because they're so like silly and funny, and not to think that I just want them to continue to be silly and funny and not have hardships, which I understand they will eventually have at some point. But um, yeah, it's just, yeah. When I'm tired, it's just thinking of them because also they got crazy energy. They're toddlers. They run off like they always act like they had like 3 scoops of pre-workouts. Crazy to me. Yeah.
No, for sure, brother, for sure. So, how would you define success as an entrepreneur?
I think success is what you make it, right? Um, I've been I've hit success multiple times for every event that I booked. When I booked 30 events for a summer, that was success for me. When I got my first what do you call it? Public spot at a wedding venue where I was a preferred vendor, that was success for me. But this year, preferred vendor at 10 spots. You know what I'm saying? That's success. Success is really what you make it and the person that you can be. To me, it's always just the next step, next evolution of who you are. Like my next successful thing that I'll be like, oh, Nigel, you're doing something right, is when I have my event venue. When that's purchased and I have my own commercial building, that's cool. That's success at that point. And then it's moving on from there. Probably getting the second one. You know what I'm saying? Like those are all things of success for me. It's all just, yeah, the next step of where you're going in evolution for your business, at least for me.
For sure, bro. So, how would you like for people to remember you and your company?
Hmm. I believe I would just want people to understand the revolution by the barrel is a byproduct from the culture. Um, at the end of the day, the things that made me is what's presenting to you at the table. So growing up listening to James Brown, having the music inspirations, right? Um, or coming from a history of Black Panthers that brought to the table. All these different aspects of the culture made this company. So when you think of Revolution by the Barrel, you really need to understand you're stepping inside a whole different dimension of culture. Doesn't matter if you're doing a wedding or doing an event, and granted, it's tailored to you, but the skill, the acumen, the creativity that comes along with it, it is coming from a beautiful place. So when you think of Revolution by the Barrel, just think about a byproduct of the culture that is making the best drinks in the Pacific Northwest. So
That's dope. That's dope, man.
yeah,
So, what does the future of Revolution by the Barrel look like to you?
I think ultimately it would be owning a venue space, not just for weddings. I'd like to have art shows. I would like to have concerts. I want to intertwine everything there. Want to have like an open venue because I mean, as you've learned with COVID, you got to kind of have like some type of open space for people to sit. Um, and I think that's the guide that I want Revolution by the Barrel to go into. I want it to be a namesake place, not a bar, but just a building where you have all this areas of creativity that can be functioning, right? And I think, yeah, like an open house like that, that's that's the next level. That's where I don't think that's where it ends, because we will definitely evolve from there. But I think that's what, you know, that's where it has to go to. And it will go to. The hope is in the next 2 years.
For sure, bro. For sure. Hey, Nigel, thank
Yeah.
you so much, bro. I learned so much, man. I'm energized off doing this interview, man. I'm energized, but at the end of every podcast, we like to play a rapid fire question game. 3 questions. So if
Okay.
you're down to play, I'll go ahead and start asking them.
Yeah, yeah. I answer them as quickly as possible. I know sometimes it get long winded.
No, you good, bro. We're gonna expand on some things, bro. So look, question number one: where's your favorite place to travel?
Oh, haven't been to too many places, but as being in Atlanta right now, Atlanta's possibly my favorite. Atlanta or Thailand. I by far I can't pick between those two. Um, damn, Thailand. Yeah, Thailand definitely.
Why Thailand? I never heard it. This is the
Because
first time I heard that one.
uh one, I, I I'm cheap, and the money goes there really long. But also the way that they have a sense of community is just amazing, right? And I'm going in there, not smart enough to. I only know some words in another language, so I'm learning. So it's always a consistent learning. And they don't have small business owners; they just have a lot of businesses and a lot of people working. Like, you're there at 8, 9 o'clock at night. The streets are packed, everything's going, and then at 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, when you up, people are cleaning the streets. You don't see that, at least in Washington. I don't see that. The same community isn't cleaning the streets. You might get street sweepers, but no, the dude that was selling scorpions the other day was cleaning his spot. Everybody's cleaning up their spot. It looks like a whole brand new city, and you keep doing that over and over again. I think work ethic there. I think just that sense of community and drive there. And there's just cool spots to go to, and it's ultimately relaxing. Just keeping your feet in the water in the sand. It's just good for you. I think it's good for the mind, body, and soul.
For
And
sure,
you get really good suit deals.
for sure, for sure. So question number
Yeah.
two: what song explains your life the most?
Oh, damn. Um, I can't speak to who I am right now, what song it would be, but I will say songs that I have in the past would be Runaway by Kanye on My Twisted Dark Fantasy. Um, and then J. Cole, so off the warm up album, I want to say Grown Simba. Um, and then I'm just trying to think if there's any other songs. I wish I could think of a song that would kind of explain where I'm at mentally now, where I'm trying to move, but I haven't found it. But those two songs I know were heavily on repeat back in the day, because I just felt connected to it, you know?
For sure, bro, for sure. And then look, bro, last question: what's an amazing thing that you did that no one was around to see?
Ooh, that is a good question. I think the most amazing thing that I did that nobody was around to see, that's a tough question. I avoided multiple accidents while driving. No, um, I think the most amazing thing is that nobody sees on a consistent basis is, like, sometimes I have these spaces in time when I'm just alone, and it's hard trying to balance everything that you're doing, right? And so I feel like something that nobody sees, I mean, just to the grander scale, like clients and stuff, they're not seeing the battle that I fight within myself to kind of be me for them, and try to continue to be creative. It's a very struggling and hard process mentally. It takes a very big toll, which is why I'm also here in Atlanta to just kind of run away. Um, but yeah, I think that's something amazing, because it's not for the weak. It's not, the stuff, it hurts a lot, and just, yeah, takes away a lot from you. So Something amazing that nobody's seeing is just the uphill battle that I'm consistently like facing. Um, it's not easy, especially not easy being black in this industry. So um, yeah, I think that's something amazing that nobody really sees.
For sure, man. Hey, Nigel, thank you so much for your time today, brother. Man, this is definitely one of my favorite interviews, man. I can't wait to put this out for the people to hear it, man, because I know it's just gonna open their eyes to just different possibilities, man. Taking something that we all see and we've all been around, but then to really put passion, creativity, and great communication behind it.
No, thank you, man. I really appreciate you reaching out. I'm excited. When you first launched your podcast, it's always good to listen. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. I'm excited when it goes out too. Make sure to post that as much as I can.
For sure, brother.